liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Did you show that the board is all present? Moving on to the approval of the consent agenda.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear. It's like
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
I'll support.
all those approved? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Can everybody hear me? It sounds like it's really loud. You can't hear me?
No, it's kind of quiet.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to move on to announcements and communications. And tonight I do have Brian, our planner, that would like to kind of give an update on where the data center is at this time. And Brian, do you want to go ahead? And make sure that everyone can hear him when he starts talking, please.
Well, thank you, John. Is this okay for volume? We're good? Okay. Now that we are past the 22nd informational meeting that the Township Board held.
Can't hear you now, you're talking softer.
Do you want that, Mike?
We'll try again. Good? Okay. Now that we're past the 22nd informational meeting, the remaining steps that are out there are upcoming steps. February 8th is the date that we have scheduled to close the portal, the question portal, which is the opportunity to ask questions of both the township and the applicant, Veris, about the data center. Once that portal closes after the 8th, we will be posting answers to all the questions that have been posed to the township. So the individual consultants for the township are going to be answering questions. The questions that were posed to Veris are going to be included, and their answers will be posted to the website also. In addition to the questions that are being added to the portal, all of the questions that were submitted the night of the informational meeting through the Slido and through the handwritten notes, we're hand entering those and we'll answer those as well. In terms of the final site plan submission and all of the additional information that Veris is required to submit, we are still waiting on that information. Part of it we assume will answer some of the questions that have been asked, but we'll be going over all of the final site plan details, all of the dimensional requirements of the ordinance, but then all of the other reports and information that are required of the applicant. So all of the sound study, the energy audit, substation details, fire protection details, information on the battery equipment, things like that. That are typically handled during the period after a planning commission review. We expect those to be submitted, and the project isn't going to be moving forward until all of those have been reviewed either by the township's consultants or by independent third parties that the township will be hiring. So that's the next step on review of the information that we expect from Veris. We do expect multiple iterations as we request additional information and vet the information that is provided by Veris. In addition to that information, there is outside review by state, county, and the Public Service Commission. So we expect that that will be happening. That is all led by the applicant, led by Veris. So that's outside of the township's jurisdiction, but please know that they will be going through those reviews as well. So that's where we're at as of today.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Any other announcements? All right, seeing none, then we're going to move on to call to the public. It's 6:05. I'd like to open it up. Please, if you can keep your comments within a 3-minute time period, that would be great. And give your name and address if you will for the record.
Doug Whitlack, 55655 12 Mile Road. The project was approved as L1, L2, which fits into the zone. However, there's no property set aside in order for it to remain L1, L2. There should have been, the buildings are twice as big as what they should. This project is the size of 12 Oaks Mall. If it was to remain L1, L2, there should be land set aside for additional parking when the data center is gone. Do you agree? Not at all.
Thank
It's
you.
usually when I get the answers.
So public comment, we can only accept comments from the public, and we can't have a back and forth discussion. So that's why you may not get answers.
Have a real Q&A.
It's not a Q&A, it's a public comment.
Have a real
All right,
Q&A.
let's please keep everything cordial, please. Let's try to keep it so
Like
all
that
adults.
first you had on the
Transparency
24th.
on the gate would have kept it cordial from the beginning.
Please, let's keep it as much as we can, please. Come on.
Good evening, Frank Tartaglia. I live off of Martindale Road. I have two concerns which were brought up in the past. The battery energy storage systems that will be used for a project of this magnitude. What assurances do we have that the on-site fire suppression systems, emergency access lanes, the pre-incident planning, and specialized equipment for lithium batteries, okay? I'm not talking about fire trucks, right? This is under Michigan Fire Prevention Code PA 207 and International Fire Code and NFPA 855 for energy storage systems. So that's more or less going to you, Brian, as a planner. Need those assurances because if something happens, you're not going to put that stuff out with basic fire. So it's on site. It's also the fire department. I wasn't quite confident in what I heard on the 22nd. Second piece. Okay. The second piece is, given the size and magnitude of this project, what about decommissioning and cleanup costs? I know Saline Township has a bond that they've issued and subsequent bonds. Some of the estimates that I've seen, given the fact that Veris is looking initially at 250 megawatts and subsequently 500 megawatts as they ramp up. So we're looking at anywhere from a bond assuring the financial assurances to cover hazardous removal of waste materials, i.e. batteries, anywhere from $25 to $60 million. So what has this board done to assure that we have the necessary protections and make it part of the condition of placing these data centers in Lyon Township, right? So I can make a copy of this stuff if you want. I just don't know how to upload it.
Oh, I was going to say, just you could drop it off to April.
Okay. All right, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kelly Sullivan. I live in New Hudson. I have several comments regarding the proposed data center and the way Lyon Township officials have chosen to interact with our community. Lyon Township residents have shown the board the last few months that we are interested in the development of our township and the decisions being made by our elected and appointed officials. All meetings of the board, the planning commission, the DDA, and the zoning board of appeals should be streamed and available on YouTube from this point forward. The equipment is already here, and it should be used more than once a month. The January 22nd presentation by the township was tone deaf, to say the least. As a resident, I can tell you that the moderator hired by the township was condescending. He spoke to attendees as if we were children. Plus, he was paid for by our tax dollars. I'm not sure who cherry-picked the questions from the hundreds of questions submitted online, but they didn't represent the greatest concerns of our community. The responses from Veris and DTE were not specific, just another glossy presentation on a bunch of slides that had so much information that you couldn't even read them. The police presence and the screening of attendees at South Lyon East was offensive. How dare you treat us that way? Obviously, the Oakland County Sheriffs were following the directions of the board when they removed a mother and a son from the audience. All that we as residents want is for our elected officials to have a conversation with us. As yet, that hasn't happened. When will it happen? We're waiting, and we'll keep showing up until that happens. Finally, and most importantly, families and staff of Dolson Elementary are still waiting to hear how this township is ensuring that the learning, safety, and well-being of the children attending this school will be a priority both during construction and operation of this facility. To quote Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Our township can do better. We ask you as our elected officials to do better. Stop this project now.
Valerie Harrison. I live on Johns Road near the high school. The Dalles, Oregon. Google's data centers consumed over 25% of the city's total water supply during a regional drought. Local farmers and residents faced usage restrictions, while the data centers' consumption levels were legally shielded as trade secrets, preventing oversight of the aquifer's depletion. This only came to light from a lawsuit by the Oregonian. Memphis, Tennessee. The XAI Colossus supercomputer was built in Memphis without initial air quality permits for its 20 gas turbines. The facility is estimated to release 130 tons of nitrogen oxides, increasing Memphis's smog by 30 to 60%, exacerbating health issues in their community. Prince William County, Virginia. They proposed adding more data centers to ones that are already there. The residents call it the hum. It's a pervasive sound that can be heard all over the community, sometimes up to 2.5 to 3 miles away, causing migraines and anxiety, and people have had to move. These conflicts have all resulted in lawsuits, just to let you know. Project Flex seemed to be approved without studies on the impact, without community input. And it reminds me of a novel that is near and dear to my heart called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where Arthur Dent found out his house was about to be destroyed to create a highway. Arthur Dent went to the township and said, where is this information? And they said, Mr. Dent, the plans have been available in the local planning office for the last 9 months. It was on display in the bottom of a locked filing cabinet, stuck in a disused lavatory with a sign on the door saying, beware of leopard. Arthur Dent laid down in the mud in front of the bulldozers about to bulldoze his house. We are all Arthur Dent.
My name is Paul Lavoie. I've been here living in Lyon Township for 40 years, probably more than any of you up there. And I moved out here for country living and good schools, raised 3 boys here, and I'd like to remain here for my remaining years, so don't wish too hard. We all had to put up with Continental Aluminum because the fire chief okayed it, even though the problems in Detroit made him move out. And we know what catastrophe that turned out to be. You couldn't control them then. What makes you think you're going to control this AI center once it's in? Now you want to allow this AI center, almost 2 million square feet, to be built by homes, businesses, and school, without letting us have a single vote on the project. What did we do to you to deserve this? It's been said that before you don't I knew that. Okay, sorry. You're supposed to have our best interests at heart as a community planning. Apparently you don't. Take a look in the mirror when you get home. Ask yourself, ask your spouse, ask your children, and even ask your neighbors. Would they live next to an AI center? I doubt it. This facility is going to have rows and rows or stacks of lithium batteries. Our fire department does not have the means, the capability to control or put out a lithium battery fire. That's why they're called lithium runaways. There are 2 ships at the bottom of the ocean filled with thousands of cars, of EVs and regular cars, because they had lithium fires on their way here. They couldn't put them out, and they had all the water in the world to do it. They sunk them. Okay, sorry. So when we do have a fire, not when, but when we do, you're going to try to put it out with water. All the byproducts of the plastic, the lithium material, and everything is going to run out onto the ground and sink into the ground and our aquifers, not where they're going to be drawing water from. We're going to contaminate our wells. I don't know if you're going to be ready to handle that. At the last informational meeting, none of it was answered in regards to contamination, decibels, and everything else. All they wanted to do is paint a pretty picture of how it was going to look. Sure, Wallbridge is for it. They're selling it, making money, and building it. So the last thing is consider what it's going to cost you to replace Dolson School. $30 to $40 million. When the teachers can't teach because of the humming and the kids can't learn because of the humming, they're going to close it. Plus, all the businesses probably want to complain too, but they're afraid of retaliation.
Thank you.
My name is Diane Link. I live on Turtle Creek Circle in New Hudson. I just came here because I wanted to express my great disappointment in that meeting that was held January 22nd. Instead of a frank discussion with the community, it became an advertisement for Verus. They took up most of the meeting with their propaganda or whatever it was they were selling. The board and planning commission offered no information to the community unless you were asked a specific question. I read all the posted questions before that meeting. The moderator cherry-picked everything. He was also very disrespectful to the audience. I've never been to a discussion where I was treated like a toddler. We weren't even allowed to clap or laugh. It was horrible. What I and many others wanted to know was how was a decision made to approve this data center? We don't have information on what went into the thought processes. It was done behind a screen or something. On the call to the public, I've been to both of the other planning committee and board meetings. There were a lot of intelligent people giving information. Did you consult anybody in our community about what would be involved with the data center? The worst thing about this data center, which people don't seem to want, was that it seemed to be purposely snuck by the community. If you really cared about the folks you are supposed to represent, there would have been a presentation, information, question and answers with the community before the decision was made. You would have cared about the impact to us, the people in the community. Calling it Project Flex was, they called the I-96 project a flex lanes thing. Very confusing. I think that was done purposefully to confuse us so we didn't know what was going on. I have no idea why this board has no respect for democracy. It doesn't seem that you do. I also want to know, who are the experts you're going to hire to go through this thing? They should be people not affiliated with you and not affiliated with Verus. I worked as a nurse for many years and was involved in product selection. If we approved a product in one meeting, we would have been thrown out. We had to do intense research testing. Why are we the beta testing site for a project that they have never put anywhere else? You need to do due diligence before final approval is made. And you need to be transparent. I agree with the guy who said, when are we going to have a question and answer? That's really truthful. I'm too old for this.
Hello, I'm Todd Slisher. I live on Johns Road in Lyon Township. Been there for 24 some odd years. I'd like to thank the board for their time, but we all have some problems. And we attended the info session on the 22nd, and as members of the community, we do not feel heard. The questions that were presented at that info session were cherry-picked and didn't address our biggest concerns. No one addressed Dolan Elementary. No one addressed the issue of property loss, the loss of property values for nearby residents and what you're going to do about it. And in that meeting, there were several lies, straight out lies. Diesel generators are on the site plan. Why did no one address that fact? Even the company said that batteries are the primary backup. What's the secondary? Sounds like diesel generators to me if they're on the site plan. The board said they only knew about this for 6 months when DTE said they were working on it for 2 years. What's the truth? And also, the overbearing police presence was just offensive to members of the community. If you want to have a conversation with us, have a conversation. Don't try to spoon feed us. There are many unanswered questions about this data center. When this first came to the attention of the Planning Commission, why didn't they publicize it? Hold some public hearing, listening sessions. Find out what the community thought about it beforehand. Why does the board feel that this is a good use of the property? When this was first raised, why didn't the board look at our zoning laws and say, this sounds a little bit different. This sounds like heavy industrial. Maybe we should have changed our zoning laws at that point so we wouldn't be forced into this position. Why was it approved at a first hearing? My God, this needed to be studied. It needed reports. It needed lots of independent stuff. Why do you... And then also, the board has not yet said, they've said, well, we're getting property taxes for this. How much? We want to know that. Yes. Also, we want to know, it was mentioned there'll be no abatements, but now we're finding out there was floated the idea of abatements in our earlier meeting with response to big projects. Can you guarantee us there are no abatements? And what's being done with that property tax money? Is it going to go into a fund that will mitigate the damages that this data center will cause? That's what I would suggest. In short, we want the board to reflect the will of the citizens. And the citizens have pretty clearly said, we don't want this. The board should be finding ways to stop this, not moving forward. They should not be working with Rawlbridge or Veris to try to help the project along. Quick suggestions, use that unaccepted noise study to delay the process. Your planning consulting firm should have been holding listening sessions. I would fire them, get a new planning consulting firm. Pay for your own studies. Don't accept the ones paid for by the company. Seek legal counsel. I'm out of time, so I'm just going to say, in short, we feel you're not working for the community. There are recall petitions that are being worked on, and we'd ask that you stop this first.
Thank you.
Good evening. First name's Larry. The January 5th meeting set the standard for what real community engagement looks like. About 10 Oakland County Sheriff's deputies were present. The panel included experts from environmental justice, Clean Water Act, wildlife technology, and land use planning. People with actual experience in DTE and other utilities. Residents were able to ask genuine, unscripted questions, and the community walked out feeling informed, respected, and optimistic. Then came January 22nd. A completely different story. Nearly 25 to 30 sheriff deputies lined the room. Attendees scanned before entering the auditorium, and it was obvious there was undercover officers scattered throughout the crowd. The entire event felt staged, rehearsed, designed to control the narrative rather than inform the public. The panel was stacked with individuals who clearly stood to benefit from the project moving forward. The Q&A session, supposedly the heart of the evening, was anything but. The moderator quietly put away his laptop and switched to paper, which looked like a very much scripted rehearsal of safe questions. He insisted they came from the audience, but when he opened up with, where did the name Project Flex come from, the illusion fell apart. From there was nothing but distractions, parking lot lighting, landscaping, and irrelevant topics no resident ever had raised a concern on. Meanwhile, questions about the elementary school, the issue resident consistently identified as one of the most important, were never answered. Instead, a mother and her 8-year-old son were escorted out by 4 Oakland County sheriffs for speaking up, and she was threatened with arrest and CPS involvement. That alone tells you everything about the priorities in this meeting. And then there was Veras. His claim that the project would have no generators was simply not true. First, he insisted they were using batteries, and only after being pressed, after someone like me yelled out, "What kind?" he did finally admit they were lithium batteries. He still tried to argue they wouldn't require generators, despite generators being in original plans. After managing data centers for over 45 years, 25 more than Virus, I have never heard of a facility being built to run 24/7 without generator backup. If Veras has invented a lithium battery that never needs charging and run forever without an alternative source, then they're in the wrong business. They should be building EVs, not data centers. The contrast between the two meetings says everything. One was transparent, informative, and respectful. The other was controlled, misleading, and designed to avoid accountability. Residents deserve better than stage performance and half-truth. They deserve honesty, safety, and real answers. The next steps, recommendations, the appropriate next step is for the township trustees to table Project Flex immediately. You are the elected officials and have the authority to do so, authority that supersedes appointed planning commission. In parallel, Lyon Township should adopt a 2-year moratorium on new data centers. Many municipalities already have, like South Lyon. During this 2-year period of moratorium, residents will have an opportunity to elect township officials who prioritize community interests, transparency, responsibility, land use, planning, rather than developer-driven projects. The approach restores proper process, protects public safety, and ensures a future decisions that reflect the will and welfare of Lyon Township. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is John Valenzuela. I live in the Arbors of Lyon subdivision. And before I begin, I'd like to thank the whole board here for having this discussion this evening, giving us an opportunity to be heard. Correct, it's not, but we have an opportunity to be heard. And by way of introduction, I just want you to know that I've spent the last 22 years of my life advising the United States government and the Department of Defense and various intelligence agencies on the risks involved in deployment of novel technology. So I'd like to give you 3 points this evening for your consideration. The first point is that this is a first of its kind technical risk, and that risk is being shifted onto the residents of this community. The proposal that Veras is putting forward asks the township to accept industrial scale risk based on projections from a startup company building a data center that has zero experience doing. They are proposing a 500 plus megawatt AI data center. This is not incremental development. This is infrastructure on the scale of a power plant. This company is making extraordinary claims, including dramatically reduced water usage, novel cooling approaches, and large-scale lithium battery backups. These ideas may be promising, but they have not been demonstrated at this scale by this operator. When a first-of-a-kind system fails, please hear me, it does not fail on paper. It fails in practice. This risk profile is asymmetric. The upside accrues entirely to the company, while the downside is absorbed by the residents. This question is about who bears the consequences if their assumptions turn out to be wrong. The second point I'd like to address with you is the issue of tax revenue. I understand that the board's position on tax revenue is that, well, the revenue justifies this risk. But please hear me, projected revenue is hypothetical. The impacts that we will live with are not. They are real. Tax revenue assumes the facility is completed, operates at full capacity, and the company remains solvent, and tax abatements do not expand at a later date. This Veras company is a startup. 90% or more of startups fail within the first 5 years. This introduces a very real financial and operational uncertainty. Meanwhile, the impacts occur immediately and irreversibly to our community. There is transmission infrastructure, traffic, noise, security changes, and zoning precedents happen whether revenue projections are met or not. If residents absorb costs so the township collects revenue, that is not a net gain. It is only a transfer of risk. And the last point I'd like to leave you with is the long-term consequences without binding safeguards. This is a multi-decade commitment. Important questions remain unresolved. What happens if the company fails, or restructures, or sells? Who pays for the decommissioning or environmental remediation? Are there binding, enforceable guarantees?
Sorry, time is up.
I'm sorry. May I leave you with one last question? One last question. If the revenue projections are wrong or the company fails, what legally binding mechanism guarantees that residents are not left with permanent infrastructure, increased public safety cost, and reduced property values? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Pete Marsack. I live in Saddle Creek. Thank you all for your service to the community. So like many of my neighbors here, I am not supportive of Project Flex. I'm not here to relitigate the past or debate what's already occurred. I think the question in front of us now is what happens next, and how do we make the best decision for Lyon Township both today and for decades from now. Residents are turning out because they're concerned about the scale and impacts of hyperscale data centers. The noise, energy load, grid reliability, backup generation, water use, traffic, long-term costs. These are all not abstract worries. These are the same issues that other Michigan communities have been evaluating as similar proposals continue to emerge across the state. In fact, some of these communities, after taking a closer look at the true impacts, have chosen to pause development to gather more information. And some have even implemented temporary moratoriums while they assess the long-term consequences and even updating their zoning standards. I understand Lyon Township may not be able to take that exact path due to legal constraints, but we can learn from others on how seriously these communities are approaching these developments and apply that same disciplined, fact-based approach here. Our own township has already acknowledged in its January 8th public statement that the Project Flex approval is conditional and no building permit can be issued until the required independent sound study and independent energy audit are fully evaluated and addressed. And that alone shows that there's still a great deal that we don't yet know, and that further review is not just appropriate, but it's necessary. So tonight my request is simple and forward-looking. Please take an active role in gathering the information we still need and evaluating that the tools that are available to the township here. This is not about stopping anything retroactively. It's about responsible stewardship and taking the time to confirm the independent studies, understanding the infrastructure implications, and ensuring our zoning framework reflects modern technologies and what the realities of a hyperscale development actually are. So I respectfully ask that a trustee move to add an item under new business tonight, directing the Planning Commission to begin drafting a zoning text amendment that defines hyperscale data center, requires special land use review for future phases or proposals, and includes objective performance standards, and then report back to this board in 60 days. Look, your residents are engaged. Even if the conversations at times have been tense or emotional, at the core of it, people simply want their elected board to step in and protect the long-term interests of this community. They're looking for thoughtful, informed leadership that doesn't allow momentum to make the decisions for us. So I'm asking the board to take the time, gather the facts, ensure choices made here truly reflect what is best for our township's future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shelley Thorson. I have been a resident of Lyon Township, South Lyon, since '87. So I have a very vested interest in this community. I do want to tell you a little story. One day I'm driving home. I'm headed south on Milford Road, looking over to the left at the fields, the golf course, and I'm like, oh, I'll be sad to see Coyote become a sub. But you know what I thought? I said, it ain't a data center. I said, damn, our township did right by us. We did not get a data center. 5 days later, I was made a fool and thought you guys protected us. You didn't. I also want to bring up the other strong observation that there's not just one elementary school that's within a mile radius of this development. Pearson is, as is my home. I'm curious to see another show of hands. Who's within a mile of this development? Anybody up front? Excellent. Didn't see any hands. Same with from the Planning Commission. So I really want to know how nothing has been explained to us why the township residents will benefit from this. Is it going to lower my taxes? I would rather you guys deny this. Let's fight the legal battle. I'll spend my tax dollars to not have this here than to spend my tax dollars to clean up the mess. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Nancy Hopkins.
How you doing?
I'm here to talk about transparency of the board. I had an opportunity to talk to Catherine by email and all sorts of manners, and she told me, she says, we're very transparent. I'm like, thank you, I appreciate that. So, so when that meeting on the 22nd, the questions, they weren't even the questions we wanted answers for. That's not transparency. And Varus was sitting there on talking to us about batteries, but he didn't want to tell us lithium batteries. Why not? Transparency. The fire marshal is sitting there. Oh yeah, we can put out those batteries, no problem. And then we'll say, what kind of batteries? Lithium. Oh no, we can't put those out. Transparency. We don't have this transparency. Okay, I had an opportunity to talk to somebody on the board, and I was very thankful to hear the information that he had to say. I asked him about the loop system, because I know my husband has worked in those. The water's got to come out sometime. It can't stay there forever. What's happening to that water? This board member couldn't give me an answer. Didn't know. Why don't we know now? Transparency. We don't have transparency. This is, it's scary. You know what I mean? Traffic. Okay, it's, you know, on South Hill. Well, how do they get to South Hill? They got to get to it through Milford, the freeway. They got to get to it through Grand River. They're going to block our roads up. Where's the transparency? Let's talk about that. How come we can't hear these things? These are the things that are going to affect us. You know, and the Vera study, the question and answers that he had, he was talking about how, you know, this was made public. No, I didn't know about it. I live just down the road by Haas Lake. I didn't know about it. How was that made public? And it made it sound like, oh yeah, everybody's okay with it. No, I'm not okay with it. Okay. So, and you know, I'm really sorry Catherine has passed away. But I would like to talk to her again and say, where's the transparency you told me there was here? I don't see it. And I'm very disappointed in that. And one thing, I'm a child of God. Deuteronomy 24 says, I go with you to fight your battles and give you victory. I will get victory in this. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mac. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I just wanted to let this township board know that the South Line City Council, this is a point Larry made, I just wanted to reiterate it. South Line City Council on February 9th will be voting on a moratorium for data centers in the city. With lots of enthusiasm. Mayor Steve's email to me said the moratorium will afford the city the time to thoroughly evaluate the situation and to determine what is in the best interest of the city and its residents long-term regarding the facilities of this nature. If you have questions about moratoriums, I highly recommend you reach out to your neighbors in South Line. That's all I'm going to say.
I only got 2 minutes and 59 seconds. My name is Stephanie. I'm a Lyon Township resident. I'm coming up here on third-hand stories from people I've talked to, directly, indirectly, and passed on. And I think if you guys want to show that you really mean this, you should start from the top. Our township members are being threatened for speaking out against this data center. Walbridge sent out a note saying that all of us here are being paid. Yep. Did you guys all get your checks? Yep, we're out of state. We're out of state agitators being paid to be here, which is highly insulting. We are also being told by businesses that they feel threatened by Walbridge and the DDA for speaking out, and that they're going to be held responsible. I also have residents who feel that they can't come here because of the amount of police presence outside. They're afraid they're going to have their children taken away if they speak out against Olson. So I kindly ask, this comes from the top. If everything is on the up and up, and if you really feel like you're doing this the right way, which I don't agree with, but if you do, you should be out speaking out against Walbridge for putting that letter out. You should be making sure that the DDA is talking to every single business and that they are free to put out their personal feelings on this data center without retribution from the township. And not one of them would come here tonight for fear of being retaliated against. So I drew the short straw and I agreed to come up here. I was followed home from the last meeting. From this parking lot, from the planning meeting, I was followed home. So I would like to know that you guys take seriously that not just the police sitting in here are protecting you, they should be protecting all of us. And that's not happening. And it makes me sick that I even have to say it, but I wanted to have it on the public record. Lastly, I think as one other gentleman said of hiring independent assessments and coming in, I think you need to look outside of Michigan. There is not a hyperscale data center in Michigan today. You need to find engineering firms who are capable and have dealt with this, are aware of the risks, aware of the impacts to the city and the surrounding areas and what they're going to go through. No one in Michigan has gone through this. Again, we're the guinea pig. So reach out, find people that are qualified to address this and not just do a simulation. Thank you.
My name's Julie Williamson, and I'm on Anna Drive in Lyon Township. I have been proud to call Lyon Township my home for 34 years. But this data center our township officials want, I can no longer be proud of my community. You are here to represent us and do what is best for our community. It seems we, the community, our health, our resources were not a consideration. After skirting the issue and trying to hide it from us, Vera's finally admitted that lithium batteries would be used. Will there be backup diesel batteries? They said no. But do we believe them? It seems everything is hush, hush, and that our officials are not even on our side. Diesel generators, which are tested regularly, emit fine particle matter and nitrogen oxides. Diesel exhaust is classified as a toxic air pollutant. The microplastic particles can penetrate deep into the lungs and enter the bloodstream. Exposure to these pollutants is strongly associated with respiratory diseases, cardiovascular conditions, and an elevated risk of lung cancer. Data centers produce massive amounts of waste, heat, and noise, which are recognized as health stressors. The necessary cooling infrastructure, including large fans and chillers, generates constant, high-volume, low-frequency noise. This perpetual humming sound can travel long distances and is difficult for the human brain to filter out. Chronic exposure to the noise pollution is linked to a range of indirect health issues. These include sleep disruption, which impairs cognitive function and increased psychological stress. Over time, chronic stress and sleep loss contribute to cardiovascular problems such as high blood pressure and increased heart rate. And they want to put this with residential homes and schools in very close proximity. Now I'm going to bring up our home values. I've lived here 34 years. You state that these data centers do not bring down home values. I would not want to buy a house in a community with a hyper data center of this size, nor send my children to a school that is located right behind one. I end this by demanding that detailed health impact assessments be conducted transparent to the community. Please stop this.
My name is Lon May, M-A-Y. I live here. I didn't know what to expect when I came here. I was invited by a neighbor. And after watching and hearing everybody, I'm proud to say that they're my neighbors. These people impress me. They really care about what's going on. It's not about tax dollars. That's the last concern. All townships, all cities, all towns, they want to get bigger, better, get more and more money. It always comes at a cost. What is that cost? In real human suffering. And that's what we're looking at here. There's all kinds of companies like Magna, like Coca-Cola just came in over here. These are all stable companies that offer hundreds and hundreds of jobs. This thing takes up 1 million square feet or more. It promises to hire maybe 14 to 20 people. Where's the advantage for our community there? If it's just about taxes, it should also be about jobs. There's no job consideration here. It's just terrible. But what I heard today, as a new guy on the street, y'all heard it too. And I think the folks here have gotten through to you a little bit. And it's never too late to stop. There are so many companies. There are so many manufacturing companies in Michigan that want to open now because of the new restructuring of the automotive industry. It's just crazy looking for property to build buildings and employ people, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. That's what we are. That property is set aside for. Is for not for the tax dollars of the building, but for the people and employees. Keep that in mind, folks. And thank you, you guys.
My name is Julianne Sleek, and I live in the Mill River sub directly across from the proposed data center. I have been witness to all of you on this board throwing up your hands and saying this was done lawfully. And I've said this at another meeting before, and I'll say it again because I firmly believe just because something isn't against the law doesn't make it right. In 2028, I will be voting against every single one of you that doesn't come out publicly as opposed to the data center. And this time in 2028, you won't have the luxury of being unopposed on the other side of the ballot. And each one of you that doesn't actually do something, not just come out and say something, but do something to stop this, I will make it my priority, and many others in this room as well will, to get you recalled before 2028. Because you don't deserve to represent this township and all of its residents.
Good evening. My name is Dana. I am here tonight to formally express my deep disappointment and opposition to the proposed data center. First and foremost, this project is planned directly behind my daughter's elementary school, Dawson. Not once, through meetings, communication, or public discussions, has the township adequately addressed the concerns related to our children. These are young students in a school that represents the heart of our community. Has anyone truly considered what this development could mean to our school district? We are incredibly fortunate to have strong schools and dedicated teachers. Families choose to live here because of them. I am deeply concerned that this project threatens not only the physical environment surrounding the school, but also the reputation, the stability, and long-term desirability of our district. This is not something we can afford to lose. Finally, to the members of the board who approved or support this project, I want to hear directly from you. Not through a generic township letter, not through carefully worded statements. I want to hear your reasoning, personally, about why this project is supposedly so crucial to our community. Because as of right now, I haven't heard one justification that outweighs the risk of being imposed on our children, our schools, and our neighborhoods. Many of you have been silent throughout this process, and silence speaks volumes. Our community deserves better communication, better consideration, and better respect. I urge this board to slow down, address unanswered concerns, and genuinely include the voices of families who live here, especially when our children are directly impacted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, all. Mark Spencer, 25400 Milford Road. Happy to be here tonight. Bear with me for just a second. It feels like a cool victory that we finally get to make use of that land out there, right? But instead, he rallied the community against you. This data center needs a lot more due diligence. A lot more due diligence. It shouldn't be rubber stamped and floated in there because it fits in an industry zoning commission that was from the 90s. Yes, I will. Thank you. Don't raise your hands because it's not participatory. Anybody that actually conditionally approved the vote, do you live here? Okay. Veris is a data center builder that has zero fully constructed data centers anywhere. They were made in 24 as a spinoff of Google. That's going to become important in a second here. There's been zero consideration for Dolson. Zero. Clearly. Care for the kids. They're next. They're going to inherit this crapshoot that we leave behind. Let's not make it a crapshoot. Let's make it a community that they want to continue to live in. So a little tongue-in-cheek, a quick Google search of where is a good spot to put a data center, you would have found some cool key points that would have been useful to not even conditionally approve this. It's within half a mile of a school, instead of 2.5 miles or more. And a bunch of residences. We heard from a lot of them tonight. There's also an assisted living center across the street from this thing. Anybody pay attention to that? No. Next. On January 22nd, we heard from our engineer that clay in between our aquifers is going to protect our water from depletion and contamination. Clay. Data center construction typically requires redundancy. This plan has one substation connecting to our universal grid. Where's the other substation? Duplicity, backups. It's important. Maybe. Generators are not considered in the noise study. Clearly on the site plan, 40 of them. Maybe. 40 generators. Not listed in the site plan. Not in the sound study. Excuse me, it is in the site plan. It's also right across the street from our local airport. It kind of has planes, helicopters, and otherwise taking off and landing right by it. A very bad thing for data center construction. Granted, it's not a commercial. It's still significant. Poses a tremendous threat, but at least we have clay. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Colleen Walter, and I live at 58902 Winnowing Circle North in the Pinehurst sub of South Lyon. I am not an out-of-state agitator. I didn't bring anything prepared. I wasn't planning on speaking, but I haven't heard anyone really talk about DTE, and I thought that, to me, it's one of the biggest issues. I don't have any research numbers or stats. I have anecdotal data. I've lived here for almost 12 years, which is probably a newbie compared to a lot of my fellow neighbors. But I have not lived here for a year that I have not lost power multiple times. I have had to, at my own expense, go out and buy a generator and have my house wired by an electrician to run that generator because DTE cannot consistently offer me power. All of my neighbors have generators. So when they stand before us and promise us that, as I learned tonight, a power plant size entity is going in and it will not interrupt our power and it will not raise our rates, they are lying to us and they are lying to you. It seems that many of you on the board may not live within a mile or two of the data center, but the rates will affect you, and it's going to affect your constituents. And yes, we can recall you, and yes, we can vote you out, but by the time we do that, the data center may already be built, and we're all going to lose. I do want to state that there are dozens of people in my neighborhood that support stopping this data center that cannot be here tonight because it's a 6 o'clock meeting on a Monday night. So yes, this room, the seats are filled, but there would be many more here, albeit for their jobs and their families and their kids' activities. So I beg of you, please set up a session where you will answer our questions to our faces without a paid moderator. Please. We are begging you. We are begging you to do that. We deserve it, and this township deserves it. Please hear us, and please do it. We do not want this data center, and if you work for us as elected officials, you should not want it either. Thank you.
Hello. So I live on Spalding in New Hudson for 12 years. So 2 of my kids are going to South Lyon schools. So it used to be a perfect community when we used to just move here. First, we start having problems with our water due to subdivisions that just growing around a lot. I don't have nothing against it if it doesn't touch us personally. So I will try to be short. First problem, it's DTE. DTE already developed and they were aware of the situation 2 years ago, and Lyon Township just found out 6 months ago. I don't believe this. About water, I'm pretty sure that most of us, we have well water. So main problem, it will be that we will have first pollution for our water. Second, our wells are not so deep that we will, like I came from Europe and I know that how difficult to manage some stuff that when you don't have support from political system. And major questions that I would like to ask you guys. So today you gave each of us 3 minutes to present our complaints about data center and give our opinion. But it's just about 9 of you, so by 3 minutes it will be 27 minutes. We agreed to stay here additional time, and if you can reconsider this and give us answer for at least each of you for one particular exact question that people was asking. If we asking for the T, you should have exact answer to us in 3 minutes, preferably. Not kind of like, just telling us different stories the way it was on 22nd January, or it will happen on February 9th, or doesn't matter how long. About moratorium, I 100% kind of agree that it should be at least 1-2 year, at least, that all other independent organization, the way people mentioned that it's supposed to be hired from a higher level, out of state, for sure, preferably, that doesn't have any connections with Google, Alphabet, and all these involved companies. Thank you for your attention.
My name is Lynn Rhodes. I've been in Lyon Township for 27 years. Lynn Rhodes. And I've had 5 generations in my family here. It used to be a wonderful place to live, farmland. People had consideration for other people's lives. And I don't want to take up any more time than what other people have said. But one thing I did not hear anyone mention is not only will this not be creating jobs, it will be destroying many, many, many jobs, because AI was designed for that, so that you don't have to pay humans. You can just put up a data center.
Thank you.
Robin Allen. Township fought recording meetings for almost 20 years. Now that you are recording them, apparently it's only board meetings. All meetings should be recorded. Planning, DDA, township, and zoning board. Because the public can't depend on minutes to tell what was actually discussed. Only actual recordings. So everyone can see with their own eyes, starting with next Monday's planning commission meeting. We certainly can't trust the township to accurately report to residents what was really said at meetings without recordings, due to the total lack of transparency from the township. Noise from the data centers can travel up to 5 miles under the right conditions, or if you're one of the unlucky ones, the wrong conditions. Because the low frequency hum from data centers can travel, researchers in Virginia, where they have had data centers for years, have suggested that data centers should be kept up to 1.5 miles from schools to avoid impacting the learning environment. Why has there been no comments from South Lyon schools about this? Why hasn't Lombardo Homes, who is planning to build homes right next to this, why have they not said anything? Has the township told both not to say anything, and that the township will take care of them down the road? As of this morning, 274 unanswered questions in the portal, with many asking multiple questions. Who's going to answer these questions? When and how? I know the planner said a lot of BS, but questions should be answered at a public sit-down meeting between residents, township board, planning board, DDA, and ZBA, as there are questions asked of all of those entities. Questions asked of individual board members should be answered by those same individuals. Stop hiding and answer to your constituents. Do the right thing as elected officials. And you got certain board members up here that won't even look at the people talking. That's very unprofessional.
Thank you.
I won't insult your intelligence because I believe you know the difference between right and wrong, and what is the right thing and what is the wrong thing. I will say I live in Green Oak Township, and my kids don't go to Dolson, but they will go to school with kids who went to Dolson when they're in middle and high school. And kids who are having such a hard time, it's going to put strain on all of our children. Like that, those resources that they're going to need is going to take from all the children. And I feel like that's important, and it should be noted. It should be discussed. I wanted to say that Veris insists that they are going to be a good neighbor. They reiterated that several times at the meeting. And I hope instead they stop and take the knowledge that can be gained here and use it to make better decisions. Being underhanded and sneaky made this project doomed from the start in this community. Had they gone into a community and pitched how they are not like other data centers, yada yada, and a community might have embraced them if they had come in with honest about their intentions and about their capabilities and about if they had a product that people would want, why didn't they sell it to us? The thing is, they lied and they were shady, and this is shady, and we can't trust anything that they say. We can't trust that they are not going to poison our water, and they have not said that they won't do that. They did not mention anything about our watershed. They said nothing about dumping their closed loop water into our water. Our wells will pull from the groundwater. We can't trust that the noise they said is not louder than a modern dishwasher. We can't trust that that is real because they are being underhanded and sneaky. And I think you guys have had enough chewing out that you want to do the right thing for your community, even if it's just so that you get to keep your jobs. I hope that you will do the right thing for all of us, because it's the right thing to do. And I know that you might not be able to come out and say how you feel and what you want to do out loud because of the legal implications, but I hope behind closed doors you are going to do the right thing for your community. There are always ways to work around. There's always a legal loophole to drag it out as long as the startup can fund their legal defense or whatever. But please, I beg of you, do right by your community. Thank you.
My name is Mike Larson. I live on Royal Troon Drive in Lyon Township. I just want to tell the board, last week after the meeting on the 22nd, I wrote a very detailed letter and sent it to each member of the board. And 3 of you were kind enough to respond to me, and I really appreciate that. And the one thing in common with those 3 letters, though, was the response that the board didn't do this and essentially kicked the blame to the Planning Commission, which I find a little disingenuous first and cowardly second. You are our elected officials. You are the people that are in charge of what happens in our township, and I expected that we would have people take ownership of that and did not see that. I think you've heard over the last hour plus a month leading up to this meeting that there are enough concerns that you should be truly worried about as far as this project. And I hope that you err on the side of caution in what happens here going forward, and remember to act in the best interests of the citizens and our friends and neighbors that lived here. The one thing that keeps coming up, though, is that the entities that are involved in this, and not the citizens, but the people that are trying to make this happen, are large corporations. Large corporations have lawyers and have well-funded lawyers. And my question to you, and I know we won't get an answer to this today, is if these people do not live up to the things that they said they are going to do, are you prepared to fight them? And my understanding is that in the past, this board has not been willing, because of lack of funds or a lack of intestinal fortitude or whatever the case may be, to get involved in a legal battle. And I think we need to be prepared for that, and I think you need to ask yourself, are you prepared to do this if they do not live up to their promises? That's really all I have. I know you've heard a lot of things kicked around and repeated, but I share my neighbor's concerns here, and I ask you to take the time and possibly put a moratorium or a hold on this until we have more information. I think we have not vetted this enough, and it needs more discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Tom Carter. I live on 12 Mile Road. Been here a few years. Some of you probably know me. And this AI thing, this whole AI thing, if you're an old guy like me, I just seen this coming down the road. And I just said, man, this is going to be the death of us. And now we have our elected officials who can't seem to make up their mind. They choose perhaps comfort over conscience. And what it's doing is destroying the faith in all of you, that these people want to have, because they're thinking you're looking out for their interests. Now they don't think so. And now you broke it. You broke it. Now you got to fix it. If you don't fix it, you're going to be forever scorned. When they see you at the market, they see you on the street, they see you driving down the road, they flip you the bird. I'm telling you, been around long enough. You better play ball, play right, play by the rules. And I know if this thing goes down and the shit hits the fan, some of you will be moving. You'll be moving out of here because of the heat. There's nothing like being scorned every place you go and everyone you look at and everybody you know that reaches out. Now, you got a chance to fix it. So do the right thing, and we'll be back on your side. Instead of having the police to protect you, we need somebody to protect us.
Yeah, I know I was already here up once, but according to your bylaws, you can only come up once with something on the agenda. This is not on the agenda. So I got a few more things to say.
I'll let you.
What's that?
I'll let you go ahead and do it, okay? But we usually don't let that happen, but go ahead.
Thank you. Okay. Everybody explains to me, I'm not a tech guy, but technology changes every 3 years. So when this thing becomes obsolete, what the hell are you going to do with it? It's going to be a lemon. When they walk away after they made their money, who's going to clean up the property and all the pollution that's left behind? Taxpayers? Sure in the hell won't make me happy. Also, I don't think you have any engineers or inspectors that's ever done this before, so you're going to have to hire outside guys. Taxpayers got to pay for that too? Why? Because none of the guys are trained for it. This is new. You're going to need specialists. And as you've heard from the public, 99.99999, etc. percent don't want it. So I think you guys should take it to heart and not go through with it. Change your mind. Change your mind, not the logo that I moved out here for. Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Hello, my name is Paul. I live right across the street in Orchards of Lion subdivision. I've seen videos on YouTube of town halls gone wrong, right? Community residents up in arms, people throwing hands, it goes crazy. That's not what I've seen here tonight. I've seen a community come together, and everybody that's come up here has come up here with an integrity and an honesty and an earnestness that I think needs to be reciprocated by our elected officials. That's all.
We're only going to let it one more time, okay? But I'll let you go ahead one more time, but I can't let it keep going, okay, Robin?
I just want to know,
Just quick.
who makes the decision at the township as to what's put on the agenda? Because the residents have asked for it to be put on the agenda and have been told, no, you guys won't put it on the agenda. Why is that? Why not? Because you'll then have to answer questions and no longer be able to hide.
Thanks, Ron. Anyone else want to come on up? I want to echo one thing before we close the call. You are absolutely right. Everybody here was very cordial, and I do so appreciate that. It's kind of a tough job to sit up here and do the jobs we do, but there will be things coming, and it will be wide open. Just want to let you know that. But thank you all. Thank you for everything. We're going to close call to the public.
We're public Q&A.
Okay. We want to move on to the reports.
Good evening, everyone.
Do we want to recess
I was
for a
gonna
minute?
say.
Let's go ahead and recess for 5 minutes.
feel like there's anticipation now, so I'm sorry. Just some updates from our last meeting. I wanted to make you aware I had a chance. They didn't make the packets that got posted ahead of time, but I did hand out copies. We finalized our 2026 calendar of events for the DDA. So that was submitted to everybody. That will be posted on our Fun on the Grand website and dates put in our calendar. We just had our first meeting for our annual Touch a Truck event last week with Lowe's. They're going to be partnering with us again this year. So we're excited to be hosting that. It will take place on June 24th. So we're going to start reaching out to companies from the last year's events to see if they want to participate again and looking for some additional new ones. So we're very excited about that. And a thank you goes out to Justine Jovanovski with Never Look Back Vacations, who is running that event for us this year. I handed out a copy of a flyer for our Poor Wars event that we're doing with some of our DDA businesses. It's in conjunction with other DDAs in the area, including Highland, Wixom, and South Lyon. So some of our restaurants are participating, and they submitted drinks, including mocktails, cocktails, coffee, specialty drinks. And those restaurants that are participating this year from New Hudson, Lyon Township include Big B's Coffee, Becker's Bar and Grill, Freshly Fused, Wholehearted Winery, and Terrasitas. So please stop by sometime between February 1st and 28th. And at those locations, you'll see table tents with a QR code linking to vote for your favorite entry for that competition. So please support our Lyon Township businesses that are participating if you get a chance. We're also finalizing our 2026 fundraising brochure, which will have all of the opportunities for businesses or organizations to get involved in our numerous events throughout the year. So we should have that finalized by mid-February. That will be available online. We'll also have hard copies that we'll have here at the office and be distributing to businesses within the DDA boundaries. Last month, we were able to attend the Kinwell Senior Living ribbon cutting event. They are not located within the DDA district, but we had our social media person for the township attend that event and get some pictures. I believe they posted about it on our Facebook page too. So we were happy to welcome them there and meet some of their staff members and residents. Right now, we are working hard with our executive committee on our Main Street accreditation that we have to submit to Main Street America. That needs to be finalized by mid-March, so we are completing all of those steps necessary to get our accreditation. We've been continuing work on the New Hudson Drain Cleanout Project and the New Hudson Road Abandonment, so progress is being made. I'll have a better update for you at the next meeting on what exact steps we're at, but we're preparing the court filing for the New Hudson Road Abandonment, and we're still meeting monthly on the New Hudson Drain to update those plans for the clean out. And then lastly, tomorrow I have the opportunity to attend a Michigan Retail Conference that'll be happening in, I believe, Bloomfield Hills. So I will be out tomorrow morning for that, but it's an opportunity to meet with real estate developers, business owners in the greater Detroit area to let them know about different parcels that we have in the community, what types of businesses we're trying to recruit to the area. So hopefully we'll have the opportunity to make some connections there and see what we can get to our township. So are there any questions for me at this time?
Any questions?
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Amy. All right, thanks, Amy. Moving on to fire. Chief.
Good evening. Fire prevention for the month of January did 21 inspections totaling just over 758,000 square feet. For last month, on average, our firefighters trained 8 hours the month of January. This month's training will focus on cold weather emergencies. So far this month, or this year, we are up 14 calls for the month, ending in January 26th. We are 196. Last year, this time, we were at 182. Any questions?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
All right, LT.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Well, the time is here. At last, Deputy Biggers will be, retired Deputy Biggers will be starting February 23rd. I'll make sure to bring them up and reintroduce them to y'all. Next order of business, April 25th, 2026, we will be partnering with the DEA National Take Back. We do it twice a year. It's an opportunity for people in the community to come in and donate any of their prescriptions. We will not accept aerosols, needles, or liquids, but everything else is acceptable. It's available Monday through Friday, but with this special event, we staff it just for those days. The next order of business is January 9th, 2026, Sergeant Moore was on proactive patrol in Feldman Chevrolet. He ran into a Jeep parked. Two individuals ran from between the cars, jumped in the Jeep. Police chase ensued. After a brief chase, it ended in Kensington Park. After pursuit termination technique was utilized, we took 3 individuals into custody. 2 juveniles, 1 16, 1 17, 1 male adult. They're all from Detroit. The prosecutor's office authorized petitions for the 2 juveniles. They're still in Children's Village until they're transferred back to Wayne County. And the male was, he got sent, he's charged with a couple felonies. But I'll keep you updated as that case progresses. Our auto theft unit normally handles that stuff, so they're following up on it, but I keep tabs on it. And does anyone have any questions for me? Thank you.
Thank you, LT. Moving on to Planning Commission. Anything happening there?
We had our regular meeting on Monday, January 12th. Everybody was present, and we held 3 public hearings. First, I want to go back to, we did have a lot of public comments on the data center, and we had probably approximately 30 people that spoke, so I wanted to mention that. And then we held 3 public hearings. The first one is on our agenda tonight. It's the Miller Landscape and Supply Special Land Use. It really is just basic ownership transfer, but the Planning Commission recommended approval to the board. They had a concern about the propane, and they actually did add the bumper blocks around the propane. They're not sure if they're going to keep it, but I think they're here tonight. They probably can speak to that. And so that was that one. Then we had the conditional uses. That was in the Wellhead Protection Overlay District, the text amendment, but the Planning Commission did not recommend that to the board, stating that they want to see anything that's in the wellhead protection, and they do not want an administrative review on that. And that was for really actually kind of simple changes, owner, operator, just user changes, like the business would be the same, but they said no to that. So our third one was the Article 16 signs text amendment, and that was recommended to the board, which is also on our agenda tonight. It's to allow additional signage for large buildings and mostly over the doors for a little bit of public safety, so people can find the doors to those big buildings. Then under new business, we had the Devonshire PD minor amendment, and that was only for exterior materials. They just want to change the style of the houses to more, Brian, what would you call those houses?
Like a farmhouse?
Yeah, farmhouse, yes. So that was that, and that concludes our agenda. Do you have any questions?
No. All right, moving on to the ZBA. Lisa? No? Yes?
There was no meeting scheduled in January. We will not have a meeting in February, and if we cross our fingers and our toes, there might be something in March.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right, building department, Tony, do you have anything?
No. Good evening. It's been routine operations mainly in the building department. I don't have anything of note to report. Let me know if you ever have any questions.
Okay. Thanks, Tony. And the water system, they're moving right along now on South Hill. I expect that to be in maybe by end of March. I'm hoping now. Fully operational. And again, anybody wants to go for a tour? I had a couple residents that went for a tour, and I took them. I'm very proud. You do? Just go, please call me, get a hold of me, and I'll take you on a tour of the plant. I'm extremely proud of it, and you won't believe what you see, really. Okay, will you call me? Just call me tomorrow sometime maybe, and give me a time you get go.
Yeah.
You said your name was Mark Spencer, right?
My name is Mark Spencer.
Mark Spencer. I'm gonna write that down because I really would like to take you for a tour. Okay. Any questions about the water? All right, we're going to move to unfinished business, which we have none. We're going to move to new business. And the first one is consideration approval for Miller's Landscape and Supply Special Land Use. Brian, you want to talk about that one?
Yes, thank you, John. Patty hit on the main points. We did hold a public hearing with the Planning Commission on January 12th. There was a public comment regarding soil testing, and it was determined that that's not an ordinance requirement. But Patty is right. This is ultimately it's a change of user. This is the old Ricard Landscape Supply on Grand River. The only trigger is the ordinance requirement that somebody who changes operator or ownership goes through the special land use review process. So you see our letter there. The Planning Commission did review and made a recommendation to approve the change of user. The ultimate decision lies with the Township Board.
Question.
Just 1 second, I'll bring you up, okay? Leslie, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
I would like to reference our January 26th review letter, which I hope is in your packet. Based on the information in our letter, I would recommend approval of the special land use with the following conditions: that the applicant has 6 months from the time of Township Board taking action on the special land use to bring the propane filling station, if it should remain on site, into compliance with secondary containment, a volume greater than or equal to the volume of the tank, and that the applicant provide written correspondence in letter form on company letterhead confirming that they do not and will not store any PFAS, PFOA regulated substances as listed in comment 4 above. They did send that via email, but we will need an actual official letter from them. But other than that, I'm satisfied based on a site visit and my review of the fire department letter from this week that they visited the site and they blocked the propane tank, which was a request of the Planning Commission. And that concludes my report.
Does anyone on the board have anything they want to talk about before? I'll bring you up just 1 second. Anybody have any questions on it?
There was a question about the salt storage and the concrete there. Was that addressed, or that's based on your site? Was that was?
I believe
addressed?
it's acceptable at this point.
Okay.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Okay. Okay. Did you want to come on?
Just real quick, and thank you for the clarification. What about cleanup if something happens, like one of these tanks blows out? Then what?
Are you talking about the propane tank?
Yes.
Okay.
Or other hazardous materials?
There aren't any other hazardous materials stored on site that I witnessed in what we received from the applicant, and that's the purpose of the secondary containment. The propane tank, the site was the same exact use. What prompted this was a change in ownership of the property, and so bringing that site into compliance, it gives the applicant time to give secondary containment. They're currently evaluating whether or not they want to keep the propane fill station. So this was just a recommendation. I think it's reasonable considering it's been there for many years without it.
Okay. Does that answer you? Okay. Anyone have any questions?
I guess just so you said they did put the temporary block like a bollard kind of thing.
They put them.
Yeah, we put the concrete bin blocks around it.
Could you come on?
Okay.
I've got to get this back.
We did put the concrete blocks around the propane tank just from people or even truckers when they come to deliver material from hitting it. So.
Okay, so during that 6 month time that you're recommending to evaluate whether you're going to keep it or not, and then go to the full containment, we at least have some mitigation from accidental striking of it.
Right. So I mean, we kind of did come on the decision that we wanted to keep it. So I did speak to Head Webster Garner come out, which is who fills it, and they took a look at the tank and kind of gave me some ideas on what we can do with it. I guess the only realistic question he had was just if, I don't know, he just said that if we had to contain it, I mean, what would you guys want him to contain it with?
Usually secondary contain, well, we can talk about this offline.
Yeah, because he said he would
meet with you guys as well? if
We
you
can
guys-
do that.
Okay.
Probably with the building department and myself, we can
Okay.
set up something. But secondary containment usually is concrete. And
Okay.
it's usually something that seals the joints. Sometimes there's a, like an internal mat essentially that doesn't allow anything to leak.
Okay, sounds good.
But we can talk about that.
Yeah.
And I guess while you're still there, do you feel like 6 months is enough time?
Yeah,
for
I
you
mean,
to-
yeah, we just gotta obviously let
Deal,
the
okay.
weather warm up so we can
Right,
pour
right.
the concrete and all that stuff too, so.
I just, if you were gonna say like that it wasn't, I don't want to like have to go through this twice.
No,
if
yeah,
you know
yeah, 6
now
months
that
should
it's-
be good enough, so.
Okay.
Okay, is everyone satisfied with it?
Yeah, I'll move the approval of AP 25-90. The Planning Commission referenced the January 8th letters of both CES and McKenna, but as part of the recommendation, but I'll also reference the January 27th McKenna letter and the January 26th CES letter as conditions of approval.
I'll support.
We can. Okay, before, we got a motion and support. Go ahead, come on up, you can come on up and have a comment.
Just had a question. I also made a point of order at the last meeting, although it wasn't noted by the planner. And this has nothing to do with the gentleman behind me, but just trying to understand the reasoning between just needing a special land use on an existing tank that's been there for a very long time to verify and have an engineer come out and verify how any potential hazardous materials would be, but yet a much larger project wouldn't undergo that same scrutiny. What justifies a special land use request in this case?
Because it changed.
Because this property is within the wellhead protection area overlay district, and the other project, Project Flex, is not. That's the difference of what prompts this special land use in this case.
So no special land use for Huron River Basin?
That wasn't the question. You asked what prompted it, and I gave you the answer.
Just,
We do have to keep on point.
no,
Thank
I'm
you.
just asking
No,
so I
appreciate
can
that.
understand, because
No,
it's just
I
trying to
appreciate
clarify,
that.
because there's no documents online that explain this. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Come on up.
I was wondering, is the secondary containment a new regulation for?
No.
No? How long has that been in effect?
I'd have to look at when the wellhead ordinance was originally adopted. I think it was approximately 2012.
Okay, because I do know it was Fletcher and Rickard previously, not Rickard. And I know they were able to keep that without a secondary, so I just wondered if this was a new rule.
No.
Okay.
All right, thank you. All right, we have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to move on to consider approval of Devonshire PD AP 25-91 minor PD amendment, exterior materials. Brian, do you want to say?
Yes, thank you, John. The request comes from the North Devonshire of Lyon LLC. These are the builders who are responsible for the second phase of Devonshire on Napier Road, just north of 8 Mile. That project is subject to the plan development agreement that was reviewed and approved many years ago by the township. At that time, all buildings, all homes within the development had to abide by the following language. The front facade, excluding windows, shall be brick or stone. On the side and rear elevations, brick shall be provided from the bottom of the first floor windows, provided up to the bottom of the first floor windows. The developer has requested some modifications to that language based on market and modern trends. So the language that they're aiming for in pursuit of a more farmhouse look is that the front elevation will have a mixture of stone, brick, siding, or wood composite with a minimum of 50% of stone brick on the first floor. The sides and rear elevations will have brick stone on the entire first floor to the top of the windows. That is the request, given that curb appeal and architecture are not something that is governed by the ordinance. I'm going to defer to the Township Board. I will mention that the Planning Commission recommended approval of the proposed minor amendment, and this is a similar request that we've fielded on several developments recently, Crystal Creek South, Windridge being two of them. So with that, any minor amendment to the plan development agreement goes to the Planning Commission and the Township Board being the final approval authority. So I have no objection if the Township Board wants to approve this change.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Questions? It's pretty minor.
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough. I mean, some of these projects get approved, years go by, the desire of the public changes, you know, as far as what they want to see construction-wise, so, I mean.
Well, I like that the statement where the decrease in brick coverage could help achieve variation between home elevations throughout the neighborhood, because sometimes you're seeing the same look,
Yeah.
and maybe this will break up some of that.
Agreed.
Okay. Anyone else?
And the request is only for the part off of Napier Road?
Just for phase 2, yes.
Okay.
And I believe phase 1 is completed in terms of build out for homes.
Do you happen to know if you're in phase 2, could you still have the other materials?
It does say minimum of 50% on the first floor, so I suppose they could still have full brick or stone, right?
Yeah, I would agree based on their proposed language.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll move the approval of AP 25-91.
Support.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to move on to consideration, the approval of ordinance 01-26 to amendment section 4209, conditional uses in wellhead protection overlay. Brian, it's you too.
Yes. And I will note, you don't have proposed ordinance language in your packet this evening because the Planning Commission made a recommendation to deny this change, but I want to run through it anyways in case the Township Board feels differently. Administratively and at the admin team, we review any change of user through our administrative approval application process. This is the process that picked up the change for the Miller landscape. It also applies to, for example, there's a assisted living facility on 10 Mile. Was it
Cambrian of Lions.
Thank you, Cambrian. Yep. Which has recently changed ownership also. So as the ordinance for the wellhead protection overlay reads right now, that change of user, change of ownership comes to the Planning Commission for a public hearing and the Township Board. So many of the changes for an existing operation tend to be minor. They do tend to be things that we have historically been able to handle administratively, and we would on a typical site plan, which was the impetus for this change, to remove that language that requires change of ownership to go back through the process. So that was where that came from, but the Township Planning Commission did not like that change. They do want to continue to review all changes of user in the wellhead.
Okay. Any questions for Brian? Everybody understand? Okay. Somebody want to make a motion?
So if there's no approved ordinance language change, so are we making a motion to just keep it the way it is?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what do we?
Would we recommend denial?
Yeah.
We'd make a motion to uphold the Planning Commission's recommendation,
Yeah.
not moving ahead with this
Correct.
amendment.
So it's a better way to state what I was
Sounds
saying.
like a really good motion, Sean.
That's a good way to state what I was trying to say. So even though we don't have the language, it's still got a number assigned. So it would be this 0126.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay. So, all right, I'll make a motion to deny the approval of ordinance number 0126, in line with the recommendation from the Planning Commission.
I'll support that.
And then
sorry.
we've got.
You have a motion in support. Okay, we have somebody come on.
Double clicking on this, are you going to put the language in the denial so that you know what you're denying?
Keep it at the same.
Oh, you mean you want the motion text to, like, the motion text to include that it's denying changing, like, the subject of the ordinance? Usually we just give the number for citation, but.
Fast forward, you're gonna have new people, right? They're gonna need to know what was denied and not just the number. Just looking for due diligence.
Right.
So I have the specific section of the language in our letter dated January 27th,
So,
if you
I guess I
reference
will,
that.
fair point, I will amend my motion to more explicitly state that we are denying ordinance number 0126, which would have amended section 42.09, conditional uses in the wellhead protection overlay district, that would have removed the trigger for review on a change of user, if I'm understanding
And
what
I'll-
it would have done correctly.
Thank you.
And I'll support that.
All right, great motion, too. We have a motion and support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we're going to move on to consideration and approval of the ordinance to amend Article 16 in the signs. And Brian, you want to talk about that one, too?
Yes, thank you. So we've had several requests to reconsider the overall sign square footage of wall signs in the I-1 and I-2 industrial districts. Right now, the maximum is 65 square feet and one wall sign, or there's a limit of 15% of the total facade area, whichever is smaller. We have come to understand that there are difficulties on some of these larger buildings navigating the site, finding the main entrance, and so we are looking to amend the ordinance to allow an additional sign above the main entrance doors. So that size would be 48 square feet. It would be 18 inches in height, and not higher than 18 feet above grade at the entry doors. So the intent here is this is signage that is readable on site, not readily readable from the road, although I suppose depending on the orientation of the building you could. But one of the things that I'm putting in as a safeguard to over-signing on one side of the building is that this additional wall sign would not be permitted on the same side as a monument sign for the building. So the Planning Commission did hold the public hearing for this. They did make a recommendation to approve the language that was presented in our letter dated January 27th, 2026. And you do have, excuse me, you have a clean and a redlined version of the ordinance prepared by the attorneys in your packet.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does everybody
Brian,
understand?
this was because of the ZBA?
It was one
well,
example.
One
yes.
example,
It was
yeah.
one of the people who requested. We've had at least two others that have requested that have not taken the step to proceed to the ZBA. Yeah.
Thank you.
Where did we come up with the 18 inches in height? It seems kind of arbitrary. Like if we're giving them an overall 48 square feet in size, whether it's 30 whatever by 1.5 feet, or whether it's 2 by 24, or like, I guess why would I care if they want to have 2 rows of text narrower above a door, or if they have like a circular logo component or something?
I have taken a look at a few sign requests in the past of larger scale buildings, and it seems like a best practice for height. Things like Kroger, some of the largest text that they use on their buildings for portions are about 20 to 24 inches. I felt like it was too big for the intended purpose of this. But if you had strong feelings of different sizes, I'd be open to it.
I didn't have a particular size. I didn't get why we would have specified one if we also have total area. And in the primary sign, I don't think we have height. We just have area. So.
Yeah, at least at the ZBA meeting when we had this one example, it was really to allow a second smaller sign to indicate that here is the main entrance. So I feel like 18 inches would be a fair We're not looking for a large logo sign,
Okay.
a secondary logo sign. It's more about like, here's,
So this
is
is
the
more
business.
wayfinding than
Yes.
it is.
At least in the incident
branding.
that came to ZBA, and unfortunately for them, it didn't meet their, the 5 requirements, so we had to deny them. But we did at that meeting discuss that these larger buildings, once you're within that complex, it's a little bit easier to navigate if you can see where am I supposed to go on this, in this massive complex. So that's at least what we talked about at the ZBA. We did not initiate the 18 inches, but seeing what they had wanted, it was more about being able to find where you can get into the place.
Yeah. I'm all about signs, I'll be honest with you. You can't find buildings without signs. I mean, so, anyone else have any questions? Any concerns? All right, somebody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance number 0226 to amendment Article 16 signs as outlined in the McKenna letter.
Okay, support?
I'll support.
Is this a one and done, or is this a second reading?
Two readings.
Second reading.
Two readings.
Two readings, first reading.
Yeah.
Move to second.
So that was first reading. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, moving on, consideration to approve resolution 2026-06, Oakland County P25 simulcast system interlocal agreement between Oakland County and Lyon Township, and authorize supervisor to execute the agreement. Where's our chief? You want to talk about that at all? I mean, does anyone have any questions about what that is? I mean, you don't have, I mean, I think we all know, but you could probably explain to the audience what that is.
Yeah, so what this is approximately 5 years ago, Oakland County started developing a new radio system for first responders throughout the county. 20 years ago, 25 years ago, you guys signed an agreement just like this for the prior system that has since reached its end of life. That system was a proprietary system just for Oakland County. The new simulcast P25 system is the same system that everyone uses statewide now. So Oakland County got away from the proprietary system that they used to have, and we can now talk to the UP if we need to talk to the UP. So the radio system is a drastic improvement from what we had. And basically this resolution is just basically to say that we're going to follow the rules federally and state locally. They own their stuff, we own our stuff, we're in charge of maintaining our equipment and anything that comes along with it. That is one difference from the prior contract, is the entire system, including the radios that were on our hips and on our vehicles, were owned by Oakland County and 100% maintained by Oakland County. When they rolled out this system, clearly because of budget cuts and everything else that has hit the areas, they have gotten away from that. They will maintain the actual towers and all of the infrastructure that our radios communicate with, but anything that we have in our trucks or on our hips, we purchased. A lot of it we got through grant funds, and we are now responsible for maintaining. If a radio breaks or needs to go on for service, basically it's just stating that we are responsible for maintaining those items. But ultimately, there's 17 pages of legal stuff that is just basically stating what I just told you, that they own all their stuff, we own all our stuff, and we have to play by their rules as far as FCC proper usage of the radio, talking on the radio, and if one of us doesn't follow those, they'll let us know, and then any legal ramifications that come of it. But we've never had an issue like that.
Do you have enough money in the budget to kind of anticipate any kind of repairs?
Yes,
Okay.
so we knew that this was coming. We've been on the radio system now for about 2 years, and we've been operating underneath the old interlocal agreement while the county tried to draft this. And they've been telling us basically since we got these radios, like I said before, we didn't even have to purchase the radios. The county just said, hey, how many radios do you need? And they came up with the funds and initially purchased all the radios on the old system. This one, going into it, we knew that wasn't the case. We had to figure out how much money we needed to allocate for this. So the budget, we do have a line item this year for radio repairs and maintenance, specifically in there for this type of event. Any other questions?
Everything is good, it's all migrated off the old system,
Yep.
B25 is going strong.
Yeah, I want to say, I I think it's been 2 years now that we've, actually
That's
a year and a
like-
half that
I thought
they
we
flipped the
basically-
switch, and it was, they did a hybrid for a while where part of the county was on the old part of it, but yeah, that's done. Everyone is 100% on the new system, and it is 100% better than what we did have before.
Well, thanks for taking my call this weekend on
Yeah,
it.
no problem.
Because I did not know exactly where it was going, but because there were 17 pages of
Yeah,
additional
it's-
contract
it's-
language.
It's fun.
It's good
Fun
reading.
It was. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-06.
I'll support that with the inclusion that it's the Oakland County P25 simulcast system agreement between Oakland County and Lyon Township, and that once approved, it'll be allowed to be signed or executed by the supervisor. If you'll accept that friendly amendment.
Jeez. Yeah.
Okay, you support
I amend the motion.
Well, Sean, you did forget to say interlocal in your amended.
With the inclusion of the word interlocal where it's to be appropriately inserted.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have support. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh,
Little question.
go ahead. You can answer.
I'm not against any EMS services. Be very clear.
I just went off the mark a little bit, but we'll deal with it.
That's okay, because I'm not against the motion, except I don't have clarity on what we just approved, because the system is clearly on the gentleman's hip.
It's the agreement that we've been on the system for a year and a half, but the county just now got us the contract that we're basically forced to sign if we want to have our radios on the contract. So every community like ours does the same thing statewide with their county to get approval to operate on this system.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that greatly to help protect our EMS. Can the same consideration be made? I'm not going to get back on the data center thing, but just for other things that are coming in and affecting our town or services? Are they reviewed before they're on our hit?
I don't understand the question.
The question, okay, let me clarify, thank you. The gentleman has the radios here. We have now, a year and a half later, approved for the radios to be here. Cool. Is there anything else in the works right now, team, that is smelling like that we got a thing, either, ignore EMS. Just
I
in
think I know,
spirit, you know where I'm going?
I think I know where you're going.
Tell
but,
me, I'm
but
losing
for
words.
for the literal piece of this, we did approve purchasing the radios and beginning to use the system when they got it. This is more legal cleanup after the fact.
Got it. We're gussing up the paperwork.
Well, coming from but it's coming from the county because the county didn't have it for us. So it's not, if I'm understanding it correctly, it's not like we just did this and now it's like, oh, you know, my homework's late. Oakland County's homework is late.
Thank you for getting me.
And I did not deduct 10% for every day that it was late, but I should.
I know.
Well, thank you.
We're just looking at it. I just want to
appreciate it, though.
Thank you very much.
That's no problem. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so seeing that all business has been accomplished tonight, we're going to adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
One quick question. Under number 10, items removed from consent agenda. Just real quick, line number 4 under the approval, received and filed application regarding data processing center of the project West. My understanding that there is a lot of unanswered questions, so I don't know how you approve communications without answering all of those questions.
So the meeting's adjourned, right?
The meeting has been adjourned, so.
No, it hasn't been.
Yeah, he just adjourned the meeting.
When did you adjourn? I didn't hear any ayes.
We don't do that. We close the meeting when the business
Well, I have
is
a
done.
question. Patty, you said there were 30, what was the 30 regarding that same comment that I didn't say?
Yeah, we had 30 comments at the planning commission.
At the planning commission?
At the planning commission.
Is that what you're asking?
That was my report.
I mean, there's a lot of questions out there. My understanding is that have not been answered. So I don't understand how you approve something when you have
Oh, I
all
think
these
these
other
were letters
questions.
that were
Were they-
received.
Yeah,
were the
I
emails
guess
that
I
were
don't
submitted
I don't
ahead of
understand
time,
what
don't
you're
those
talking about
reports count as
approving.
well?
The communications that were filed are communications that were directly emailed to the township. Those get filed under communications that were received questions on the portal will be addressed separately. They're not filed as direct communication to the township. Those are a separate entity that we're collecting that information from.
That needed a lot more clarity.
Okay.
Okay, no, that was a good question, actually.